In this video, we're finding the motivation and finishing off some half-finished projects. Roll the music. Hello and welcome to yet another Scuffed Hammer video. My name is Hammer, and today we are going to deal with some of those projects I've been having sitting around half-finished. Some of these are pretty simple, like my Hellblasters that I painted before I had an airbrush. 2 of them don't have a plasma glow, the other 3 do, so I'm just going to make them the same standard as the others that I have. And some of these projects are a little bit more complicated, like my Blade Guard Veteran. I have one single Blade Guard Veteran that I haven't touched at all apart from base coating. So that model, along with a few others I'm going to complete today, are just going to be some of the finishing touches for the models I've already done, and that'll just take a little bit of the mental load I've built upon myself for not having some battle ready units that I could have battle ready. So, enough waffling, let's get started. Let's start with what models I'm going to paint. On our list today are 2 Outriders, which I haven't painted the riders at all. A Blade Guard Veteran, the weapons for a Knight, and of course 2 Hellblasters. Now, I didn't get the footage of the Hellblasters because I was a bit excited and just started getting going, but I got footage of them once I started painting. And this step was quite easy. I just made sure that I had my Hellblasters out when I was doing some plasma glow for another model. After that, it just required a little bit of touch up for the plasma coils to make them look white hot. And then, there we go. It hasn't even been a full minute of painting yet, and we've already ticked one of our things off the list. So I think it's time for a mini reveal. Moving on from a quick and easy success is a failure. Now this is the scheme that I was going for my Outriders. And after giving all of my models a brushing off with the airbrush, to get rid of all the dust of course, I attempted this. But as you'll soon find out, this didn't work. And this is partly the reason why Rattlecans and I just don't mix. For some reason, no matter how many layers I put on this model, the paint just wanted to pool together. Now I did try this on other models and it worked fine, it just didn't work on the Outriders. At this point, I was beyond frustrated, and the option was to either put it aside or stop working on the project altogether. And as frustrating as it was that I didn't get to complete the models I wanted to finish, I decided to complete the other models and at least get some of this project done. Having made that decision, I moved on to painting my last Blade Guard Veteran. And while there was a bit of jumping back and forth between the different models, I did primarily focus on one model. And I chose the Blade Guard Veteran as my next model because from memory, I really loved painting the first 5. And I really just needed that break from painting a model that just made me feel like banging my head against a wall. Now, I wanted to give a special thanks to Walrus Master for his comment on one of my previous videos. Previously, painting gold has been the worst experience for when it comes to painting something in the hobby for me. But when I expressed this in a previous video, Walrus Master came up with a great solution of painting brown underneath gold first, and it worked perfectly, so thank you. And now seems as good a time as any to mention that if you want to join an awesome supportive community that we're getting going, join us at our Discord, where we love to share our painting journeys and encourage each other no matter what stage of the hobby you're into. We really want this to be a hobby safe space where it doesn't matter your skill level, all that matters is that you're getting models finished. So if this sounds like an interesting concept to you, come join our Discord in the link below in the description, and we'll see you there. Now, if you're wondering why I use purple instead of red for my purity seals, there's a pretty simple explanation. And that's because for the longest time, I only had one red paint, and I would use that red paint for the salamander's glowing eyes, I'd use it for the purity seals, and I'd use it for anything to do with fire. And with all those uses of red coming together in one model, it just didn't look different enough. So I decided to switch to purple purity seals, because in my mind anyway, purple fits better with green. Once the final touches for the rest of the model have been put on, and I usually leave washes for the final touch, it's time to move on to painting a magma sword. Now, this is pretty simple. You start with white, work your way up to yellow, orange, red, and then you put a little bit of black on the edges just to make it look like it's not as hot. Making sure you wet blend between the different layers so that it isn't just this stark contrast between the different colours. Now, I like to cheat a little bit and use a bit of technical paint for my black so it cracks and does a lot of that work for me. And with that, it's about time for another reveal. And now, we're on the home stretch. My knight was the last model I painted before starting this YouTube channel, but I didn't finish its second main weapon and the missile pod that sits on top of its back. I skipped doing these weapons just because I had already been working on this project for so long at that point that I decided that it's battle ready. I'll be running it without the painted weapons most of the time anyway, because I'll be running it as a Canis Rex, so I'll just leave these ones unpainted and that's fine. But it has been looking a bit sad sitting in my display shelf with only one main weapon. So, these weapons, combined with the other models I needed to get finished, made a perfect video where I just wrap up all these half-finished projects I've had going on. Plus, this video serves as a perfect reminder that sometimes it's okay to just take some breaks and put some projects aside if it's just causing you frustration or anxiety trying to get something done that's just not bringing you any joy. This video's less about what I'm doing and how I'm doing it, and more about encouraging you to get those models done and to take a break if you need. As most of the paints and techniques I've been using this video have been existing techniques or paints I've shown off in the past, I've decided to use the same purple I used on my Hammerfall bunker for the missile tips. And once that's completed, I'm going to finish off the model by doing some heat stress. Now, I've already done the Seraphim Sepia before I took a break from this model, so I only need to do the last two paints. Those being Drukai Violet and Drakenhof Nightshade. Once that's been completed, it's time for one final little touch with a purity seal on the weapon. After that, it's time for the final reveal. Well, that's just about it for today's video. Thanks for joining me. It's been a great time getting off this mental stress of all these half unfinished projects off my plate. Now I can show off my Hellblaster squad in its full glory, run my Blade Guard veterans as a full battle ready unit, and show off the last few weapons on my Imperial Knight. Remember to take a break when you need it, and that no model being completed is worth your mental sanity. That's all from me. Over to you now, Scuffed.